Okay, so in these last few segments, I have mentioned a few neat things I've observed in the automotive YouTube community. But now we're going to dedicate a whole segment to just a whole bunch of things I would like to put the spotlight on for things I have seen in the automotive YouTube community, because this stuff is cool, and if you guys haven't seen it yet, it's a blast. So, starting up, we've got Amelia Hartford with her cool project cars, specifically with like replicas of old classic race cars and sports cars, like with her Ford GT40 and things like that, or the I think it's a Ferrari P4, forgive me if I'm wrong, replica car using, I think it's like a Chevy Big Block or something. It's super entertaining to see someone with her charisma and her practicality, with her familiarity with doing stuff herself, building things with her own hands, and still managing to make cool content on top of it. Like, also, you know, making a cardboard head gasket for a truck, and the replica cars, her Corvette C8 Z06, and all kinds of wild stuff. A treasure for the platform, and I hope she keeps making content for a long time. A guy I recently started watching, but I wish I had been watching for a lot longer, is Weston Champlin. Now, Weston Champlin, his personality is amazing. His positivity, his energy is just contagious. The editing style is great. The production value of his videos are actually really, really good. And his projects are one of a kind. Like his turbo diesel Smokestang, his supercharged 60s Dodge Charger, his burnout big block Mustang, and all of his other crazy ideas and things that he does. His twin turbo Hellcat, which is also still supercharged, despite being twin turbocharged. All of the stuff he does, and that roadkill build of his Hellcat with nitrous and stuff. He's just super entertaining. He's just super fun to watch. I've been binge watching a lot of his stuff lately, and I wish I had started watching sooner, because I haven't found anyone that makes videos like him anywhere else on the platform. I mean, not to mention, he builds things that I would not dare to build because I wouldn't know how to make it reliable. But here's the thing, he doesn't care about making it reliable. He'll spend 2 months building a car and then blow it up in one attempt to do a burnout. And you'll say, alright, that's the video. This video spanned 2 months, 4 months. We tried to build a car for some burnouts. I blew the engine. I'll see you in the next one when I have a 2,000 horsepower big block. I have not seen anything else like it anywhere. He's just a treat to watch. Now, we need to talk about Shmi real quick, because he's been driving some insanely cool cars. He recently got his Zenvo TSRS. He did a really cool video on the Pagani Utopia. And he even recently did a video where he drove Paul Walker's personal Motor X R34 GTR, his silver one, the first one he got. And some cool facts about that car. He bought that car before Too Fast and Furious started filming, and before they started casting cars for that film. And when he found out Craig Limmerman's black R34 GTR, well, actually I think it was blue by then, got casted instead of his, I think Paul was like, man, of course your car got casted. I'm pretty sure is how Craig worded it, because I think Paul, I guess, wanted his car to be casted. He's like, I got an R34 GTR, take it, use it, I think is probably what he would have said. Something like that. That's the impression I got from all the things he said about him. That was his first R34 GTR. His other one was a white one that was a Tomei car. Now, Gintani. We got to talk about Gintani, because they've been doing some really cool stuff, and they need some recognition. Obviously, everyone knows about their SVJ exhaust system, and, well, it can be used on an SV as well, and a standard, Aventador. But it basically makes an Aventador sound like an F1 car. It's super high-pitched, super loud, and they know how to tune it to make huge fireballs. They developed a twin-turbo kit for the Aventador V12 that retains this F1 sound. A lot of people are always very concerned that when you twin turbo a car, especially a V12 car, you really kind of lose that nice harmonic F1 sound. But they found a way to retain it and also make big power. That's super commendable, considering the fact that underground racing doesn't even do that. That's a huge selling point for them. They've made that sound their signature sound. even with their twin turbo kit. I know that Daily Driven Exotics put a deposit down on their twin turbo kit to start ordering materials and parts. I know they haven't paid for it fully yet. I hope they still follow through with getting that twin turbo kit because, well, I hope they do. Right now their car is in the UK still. They had to fix a gearbox issue with it that they had to deal with during their last Gumball tour, but hopefully that still happens because, man, that would be super cool to see. Now, here's something I don't know how to feel. This is me kind of being an asshole, but I've observed that in a short span of time, within like the last year at this point, because I've been building my news playlist for a while now, that lots of people are buying and modifying and doing projects with E46 M3s, which irks me a little bit simply because I've been struggling to fund my own project. And everyone else is like, I bought an E46 M3. Or so here's some examples. Adam LZ rebuilt his. It's super clean. It's got, I think, a Turner Motorsport carbon airbox on it. His one complaint with it is that I think he made his car so loud it was hard to hear the induction sound of the airbox. So hopefully I didn't make my car too loud for my carbon airbox. Very clean car, beautiful color. Spencer Burke, one of the best channels to go to for BMW content, he got an E46 M3 as well. And then, of course, Black Panther, the Need for Speed man, got himself an M3. Well, actually, no. It was a 3 Series. But he's building it into an M3 GTR, obviously, because everyone... I'm going to be the last person to do it, even though I've been trying to figure it out for years. Since, like, 2016, before I even had my E46 M3. But no, it's fine. Life happens. Stuff is expensive. My mortgage got more expensive. My electric bill got more expensive. My water bill. My washing machine decided to take dishonorable suicide. Just take its own life. Ugh. Oh, it's just wonderful. But it's just kind of funny because it all happened in a short span of time. But also, I noticed another kind of mini trend that I observed with, I'll call it a coincidence rather than a pattern because I haven't seen 3 YouTubers do it, but I've seen it twice, so I'll say it's a coincidence rather than once, which is a anomaly, I guess. Is that Adam LZ bought back his first car, which is I think like a BMW 3 Series, and Evan Shanks bought back his first car, which was a WRX STI hatchback. And it just makes me go, man, I miss my Subaru WRX. I wish I could buy it back because I did some neat stuff to it. And I had lots of cool stuff planned for it. And honestly, with the income I have now, it's like 4 times what I was making back when I had that car. All the parts I wanted to get on it would suddenly feel so cheap to me. I would be able to finish that car. I would be able to buy all the parts for that car in like a month. The body kit, the wrap, the wheels. Oh, it's so irritating. Oh, I forgot. Shmee drove, the only car that could rival the McLaren P1 HDK or the McLaren P1 LM in my heart for the best car in the world is the Koenigsegg Agera 1.1. Shmee drove the 1.1. 1 horsepower per kilogram, I think, and the car makes like 1,300 horsepower through its in-house twin-turbo V8. How do you beat that? I mean, in my opinion, the only thing that could really beat that in my mind is a McLaren P1 with the HDK package from Lanzante. But that's just me. Harking back to what I was talking about with the Fast and the Furious and kind of Paul Walker, loosely connected, is Craig Lieberman, in case you forgot, is a great source of information when it comes to behind-the-scenes stuff with the original Fast and the Furious films. He does lots of awesome interviews with people who originally built and owned the cars used in the films, the people who designed, like, the liveries for the cars, did special effects, or this, that, and the other, or any other kind of, like, stunt driving information. All kinds of cool facts and information about these movies. He's got a whole host of videos for you to watch. And it's really, really cool to listen to. And he has lots of stories to talk about with meeting Paul Walker and his experiences with the cast and all the difficulties they had to overcome and things like that. Just all the problems they had to solve. But this is also why I stopped making Fast and the Furious videos where it was like, information focused. Is that once he started making videos, because I was making them before he started, once he did it, what was the point in me doing it? because he is what you would call, if you learned this in elementary school, which I hope you did, he is a primary source of information. He is where you go to while doing research to get the information. I am what you would call a secondary source of information. I got the information from someone else, and I am representing it in my own format. Now, I know some people might be like, yeah, you can still do that. I just don't see the point. I'd rather get it from the source, and when I was making videos, that wasn't possible. Instead, what I would do is I would make videos and, you know, exchange text messages and phone call conversations with Craig to make sure everything was accurate. But then he started making his own videos. And then I kind of stopped making Car Talk Explained. Anyways. But I might bring that back one day. Sorry, my chair is farting. And, you know, before moving on, as we get closer to the 10th anniversary of Paul's death, I just wanted to share with you, I'm sure you've seen it on, like, Instagram and things like that. Odonata made a really nice animation for, you know, Paul, where it's like this nice animation of him in his Eclipse, Dom in the RX-7. It's just kind of, you know, our equivalent of like a moment of silence for him. Just kind of remembering him, and it's just well done. So I just thought I'd share it with you. I did want to say, because I saw that my dealership had an S650 Mustang at their dealership, it sold in like a day. So I didn't really get to take a look at the interior, but the exterior of the S650 looks cool. The dark horse with the naturally aspirated, you know, 500 horsepower Coyote engine. I think it's the Gen 4 with the dual intakes. Looks very cool in the engine bay. That Dude in Blue did a great video on it. He's my favorite YouTuber for Mustang content. Doug DeMuro, with his super in-depth and detailed, you know, signature style of video, also did a video on the S650. It's a neat car. I'm going to miss the retro callback style interior that the S550 had. But it is what it is. But also, inversely, BMW with their modern cars are super well made, super capable, and can made to be great tuner platforms with like the G80 M3, for instance. But the front end, you know, those grills, I'm just not sure about it, but they fixed it on the 3.0 CSL, I believe is what it's called. Yeah. The limited production 3.0 CSL, it's like an homage car. Carwell did a great video on it. It's limited production. It's super friggin' expensive, so I don't really get it. But hopefully aftermarket companies can kind of replicate that front bumper for people who own ordinary M3s, because we need that. It looks great, but it is what it is. Remember that Steve Morris engine I told you about? That he was building. It sounds like a first-gen Gallardo engine. It's twin turbo, makes huge power. He was building that for Houston Crosta at Royalty Exotic Cars. For his Huracan STO. I think it was wrecked at some point, and he put it back together, and he decided not to put the wing back on, which it actually looks kind of cool. Honestly, I think it looks better without the wing, just because I don't think the stock STO wing looks good. If you put a real Super Trofeo wing on, I would actually prefer it with that. But because I haven't seen anyone do that yet, you know, fine. No wing. Shmi affectionately called it the STO Touring, which I believe is a reference to the 911 GT3 Touring or something like that. Very clever. It looks cool. And it's probably going to be really freaking fast. And with that Steve Morris engine, it's going to sound very, very cool. Now, in case you aren't aware, I don't think I've talked about this yet, but let's talk about Lee Bird and his R34 GTT build. Possibly the best one I have seen on the platform, full stop. Alright, it's a GTR conversion, so it's got an RB30, I think it's a 3.2 liter stroker, big turbo, over 1,000 horsepower at least. I can't remember if it's like 1,200 or 1,300 or 1,100. I don't know, it's fast. It's sequential shifted. It's got a full GTR drivetrain. It's got a Haltech standalone ECU meant for an R34 GTR. It's got real, genuine R34 GTR steel quarter panels. It's got a, you know, the front fenders, front bumper, and rear side skirts, all that stuff. It looks like a genuine R34 GTR. It does have GTR badges, but because of all the work he's done to make it drive like a fully built GTR, he can keep those badges. I know the VIN says otherwise, and I know a lot of purists will say, it's not a GTR. At least he doesn't have to pay the premium for the badge. He doesn't have to pay the insurance. He doesn't have to pay $150,000 for a 300 horsepower car from the 90s. So, we can't blame him. And it's a very clean car. He originally was going to paint it active red, but he ended up painting a metallic R35 GTR red. It looks so good, and it's so fast. Monster performance. I'm going to be sending my R34 GTT when I get one, when the M3 is done, because they're the only shop in the country I know of that even does that rear quarter panel conversion. So, I know where I'm going.